basically, I'm just talking about the arrest for trespass that Walmart gave to me for not being able to wear a mask in their establishment. Um, Basically, I was treated very unfair. I was embarrassed in a public setting. I was escorted off of the facility with handcuffs and placed in a car, a police car, in front of my children, having to be treated just with a little more compassion and empathy, and having some sympathy towards people who have disabilities and health concerns that doesn't, which are unable to comply with the mask requirement. And just having Walmart take that initiative of, we're so sorry this happened, this is what we're doing, we're making our establishment just a little more understanding for our customers, and having our associates trained a little bit better off of this situation and this video that I put out there to show that it was not okay what was done to me or to anyone else. And the outcome being is just a simple, hey, we're figuring this out as we go. We appreciate what you've put out there, and we're sorry you were put in this situation. So Walmart, at the beginning of the month, in November 4th, we went to our community Walmart, which is here in Eagle Point, Oregon. And we went in, and of course there's a pandemic going on, so we have to wear these masks. I attempted to wear the mask, but I had just had surgery. So I had 2 binders holding my abdominal area very tightly. I was wearing a long sleeve. It was cold, but not cold inside the facility. I took the mask off, and I kept my distance from people that I didn't know. When approached by employees, I was demanded that I put the mask on. I told them medically I could not do it right now. One of the other managers and one of the employees just started kind of arguing amongst themselves. One said, that's fine, let her be. The other one was more pushy towards the fact that things had changed, is what I was told. I said, you guys figure it out, we'll continue shopping. Continued shopping, got approached by another manager, and she yelled at me. She says, you need to put this mask on now. And I said, medically, I cannot. I said, I can go ahead and give you the paperwork, or you can see the paperwork, I said. She basically didn't want to hear it. She said, you have to leave because you're being non-compliant. She said, I said, where does the policy state that someone with a medical condition will be escorted off of the facility? She wouldn't give it to me. She didn't want to hear it. She just put up that wall and said, you need to leave right now. I said, may I please see that policy? She said, I'm calling the police now. So she called the police, and we stood there for a while, and I said, you know what, let's just finish shopping so we can get out of here. The cops came. They basically put the handcuffs on me. And then I was arrested, and then they gave me a ticket afterwards in front of my children, my husband. And I was on the phone with corporation, and corporation said that, no, that wasn't the way it was supposed to be handled. And when I was being handcuffed, I had to give the phone back to my husband.
And you're telling me that I'm being escorted because I'm not wearing
there's
a
no
face covering
right there.
and I have a doctor.
I'm in the middle of arresting her right now, and it came down.
Continue.
Okay, it's all on video.
It's all on video.
Yes, it is. But why are you arresting me is the question.
Anselmi?
That's right.
Lieutenant?
Corporal.
I was in the Army.
Should know better.
Exactly.
Especially under these days and age.
And I just had surgery on my abdominal. I wasn't. I was asking you why you were taking me out.
She doesn't have a face mask?
Because I don't have a face covering. And I have a doctor's note that says I cannot wear one.
So, Michelle, what made you leave the review and go public with the issue? What was the main goal for this?
Well, the main goal is that most people do not wear their disability on their arm or their sleeve, or they don't have it physically on them. And some people have it internally. And at that moment, I had surgery, which I had a doctor specify exactly what was going on for me. I don't have to show it to people, but I understand people can sometimes take advantage of that. And the goal was to go publicly that a corporation this big in moments like this should have more compassion when it comes to people with health issues or health concerns. And you would think their ambassadors would have more audacity to do something like that, to not put me as in a spotlight, because I was put in a spotlight, and it was embarrassing afterwards, but I still went with it anyways, because you can't just say, oh, well, no, you have to leave. I don't care if you have a disability. This is why those rights were put in place for people who have disabilities, to have a right to do what everyone else can do also.
Is there any particular solution that you're looking for?
At this point, it's more of an acknowledgement of what was done wrong. And nobody's been able to acknowledge it. Everyone keeps saying, the policies for each Walmart are different. And, in a small community, you can see it. And I've been going to that Walmart since this pandemic. And I've done the requirements as needed, but I've also not done them either. So I felt like I was kind of singled out that day, and I was kind of hunted down through that. And at this point, it's more of an apology from Walmart to be like, we're being more observant. We're being just a little bit better with, things like this. And, not the whole, well, we have curbside pickup. I have to wait for curbside pickup till the next day. Not when, oh, I forgot to get milk and I can't go to my local Walmart to get milk without being escorted in handcuffs out of an establishment that I put down thousands of dollars throughout the whole year.
What Walmart could do better for you to feel better?
Be a little more understanding of people who don't have a disability, whether they're not in a wheelchair, whether, they're a combat vet, anything. They need to have better ambassadors to deal with the situation like this, so it doesn't escalate. This could have been dealt as, we're not sure, we don't have a policy right now, or maybe we're misunderstanding the policy, and here it is, this is what their new policy is, or whatever it might be. It's that would make me feel a lot better, that at least me putting myself out there and putting my face all around worldwide was for a reason. I still have to go to court in January. And so, it would be great if they would at least help us out in this pandemic, because I'm the only one working right now. But, either them writing a letter saying, we're not proceeding, continuing this or something. Right now I haven't heard anything. I've called their corporate, I've called their district manager, and nobody's called me back or anything.
What are you expecting is going to happen after your video interview is going to be released?
I really don't know. I didn't expect it to take off this much either. But then I also didn't expect that there was a lot of other people that have dealt with this situation also. So that kind of opened Pandora's box for people to say, well, this happened to me too. And, I was kicked out. I was assaulted. I've had, messages from people saying, we were assaulted to get out. We were chased like by a mob. And it's like, no, there's a boundary, and Walmart's associates have overstepped that boundary. So I just hope it would open people's eyes to, it's not okay. People do have disabilities and health concerns, and it's not just cut dry, like black and white. There's always that gray area. So I'm not sure.
Would you give some certain advice to the future customers of Walmart?
My advice would be, it is a big corporation. And right now we're trying to hold up the small persons, small stores. I have to admit, Target has been more accommodating than anyone else I've ever thought they would be. My advice would be, just be cautious and know what those stores offer for you. It's not a problem to call and say, I have health issues. What can you guys do for me? I didn't know that was something that I should have done, even though we've been so deep into this pandemic. It was a learning curve for myself also to call ahead of time, but it wasn't something that, was promoted. It wasn't. So just knowing the policies when it comes to going to a store.